back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, Professor Chris G, and on the other line with me is the man that better not have been recording all of this prequel. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
What else do you think goes on the Patreon every month?
That better not go on the damn Patreon.
Bro, I'm telling you, this shit's gold.
I'm sure it is. Oh man. Let's see. All right. I am pulling up our episode, but we're back. And we're
yes.
yes, and we are doing a nice little twofer today. It's none of you will notice it, but we will notice it over here on our end. So, but how have you been, ma'am? How have you been?
I'm frustrated because this fucking weather doesn't know whether it's coming or going on a daily basis.
I know, dude. It was snowing today.
Yeah, I thankfully I'll say over here I didn't see any of that, but I saw the shit on the news and I was like, hey, yeah, I want no part of that.
Yeah, it freaking snowed. Like I spent most of my day clearing out my garage today, and we did like a spring sweep, and I took all the old stuff and I put it out on the curb and said, "World, if you want any of this stuff, come grab it. Otherwise, it's going in the trash on Wednesday."
Right.
So yeah. But
Now, do you have a rule where you can only have one big item out with your trash every week?
if it is, we've never listened to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, okay, we have one big item out, but the rest of the week we'll just kind of randomly sprinkle stuff out on the curb, and 9 times out of 10 it's gone in the morning.
Yep. So that's what we did. I have a lot out there right now. Like
Yeah.
we got some tables that we didn't want anymore. Some an old swimming pool pump that's out there that we didn't need anymore because I upgraded our pump. Like we got a lot of stuff out there. So whoever grabs some of that stuff is gonna be some lucky people because I
Right.
I clearly got over like $1,000 worth of stuff that's out there that I just don't want any part of anymore.
It'll be
But
somebody else's junk for a while.
yeah, dude, we had a person that came by like a scrapper. So we had a scrapper come by as we were taking stuff out, and he literally stood at our driveway, right next to his truck, just watching us bring stuff over to the curb to see if there was anything like of value. And he stood there for like 15 minutes. It was so awkward. but he,
What
but
else you got in there?
but yeah, but what made it even more awkward, so we took our actual like garbage bins out. He was going through our garbage, dude.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess I get it, but that's still a little creepy.
For real.
Like once it's in the garbage, I guess it's public property, but
All right. So by the time that this episode goes out on the free feed, I guess we should say it. Pokemon the Pokemon TV app is no longer a thing anymore.
yeah, I guess it won't be because I think what did I see today? 28. So yeah.
Yeah, so it from the day of this recording, it literally ends in 10 days, and by the time this episode goes out next week on the free feed, actually this wouldn't even be, it would next week on the free feed. um it's yeah, so the way that we would prefer you guys to watch these episodes is obviously, the right way is by going on Amazon Prime. They have all of these, and for $2 a month, you can go ahead and subscribe, and you can watch these episodes, and you can do the watch along with us. If you want other ways, there are Flix sites on Google that we are not going to give you access to, but you can find them. But you can find these episodes anywhere, especially on Flick sites on Google. If you just happen to just Google the Pokemon episodes. So, however you want to do, you can still watch the shows with us, either the legal way, the way that we want you to, or the way that you guys find it on the internet. There's ways to still do the watch alongs with us. So, yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean I still don't understand why.
I think their
Like,
contract with the people that host Pokemon TV ran out.
well, re-up that shit. I mean, I understand all the episodes are 15 other places by now, but it's always nice to have a central hub. And I mean, they were rotating the shit. It's not like, it's like, oh, they've only had the Orange Islands episodes up forever or whatever. They've
Well,
were
they
steady
did.
rotating.
I mean, season 1 and 2 was always up there, and then anything after 2 was getting rotated. However, their algorithm was, because I think their algorithm was kind of funky in a way, because the way that they chose whatever seasons were going to be up there was kind of screwy in a way, anyway, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, today we are doing Misty meets her match. And when I saw the title to this episode, I before I even watched it, I thought that this episode was really like focusing around Misty and how Misty finally meets someone that's just as good at with water Pokemon as she is. But oh no, was that not what the episode was pertaining to? But I guess we should go ahead and give the synopsis on this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up. There we go. So Misty meets her match, or translated from Japanese, Yuzu Gym Type Battle 3 versus 3. Has nothing to do with Misty in that title.
Not even a little bit.
And the episode premiered in Japan July 1st, 1999, and here in the States September 9th, 2000. But yeah, we this episode pertains to Misty, a love interest, and some, I guess, symbolicalism that they put throughout the episode as well. And I mean, I'm not going to give the whole episode away, but that's basically the gist of the episode. So, but when you saw the title, what did you think, Doug?
Um, I was kind of in a similar vein of thinking as you. Like, oh, Misty, meets another like water type trainer, or at the very least, I thought the trainer that Ash was getting ready to battle because he's been getting ready to get to this gym for like the past 3 episodes. I thought it's like, oh, he's water focused, and maybe it's gonna be like a Misty kind of is used as like Ash's proxy because Ash doesn't really adapt his battling style. It just kind of gets to a point where, listen, idiot, you're not going to beat this guy unless you do this.
Yep.
And Ash is dragged by his ear to the correct answer.
So, all right. Well, with that part out of the way, I think it's about time. Are you ready to jump on into this week's episode, bro?
Definitely.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump on into this week's episode. And we start this week a little bit different. So when we last saw our heroes, they were told about the boat that goes once a day from the island that they were at over to Dravita Island. And we start this episode off with Ash, Misty, and Tracy on the boat. and they're heading over to Trevita Island to get Ash's third Orange Islands badge. And while they're on their way over there, Ash is like, well, you know what? I hope this gym leader is ready to lose because that's what this gym leader is going to do. And then out of nowhere, after Ash basically starts gloating again, um, we see a little girl in a whirlpool in the ocean, and it's sucking her and her seal in. And Tracy's like, oh no, she's drowning. And she's like, please, can somebody help me? Can somebody please help me? And as she's saying that, she's like, oh please, brother, help. And that's when she goes underneath the water. And this episode went from 0 to 100 real quick.
For real. Like usually there's like a minute or two of, oh, it's this and that and the other. It's like, no, wait, this 22 minutes. We have to go.
Yep. So so at that point, um she goes underneath the water, and what we are guessing at this point is her brother comes running over, and he's looking into the water, and he sees Misty throw out her Star U and take her Star U to go and save this little girl. And we slowly find out as 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 she's going down that her name is Mari. So that's what this guy was saying. He's like, Mari, Mari, and he looks in, and Misty is under the water, and she's swimming towards Mari, this little girl, and her seal. And which personally, I mean, how why is why and maybe the seal just got knocked out just due to the whirlpool, but with seal being a water Pokemon, why is seal knocked out underneath the water? Or did it just
I
get
think
dizzy from the whirlpool?
I think you hit it. I think just the shock of being in the whirlpool kind of knocked it for a loop, and we don't know how like trained or like how far like along like not the evolutionary path, but like we don't know how well trained the seal is. Like if it's literally like a pet, maybe it's not bred for like action.
Gotcha. Which that could be it. So Misty goes under, and she grabs Mari, and she also grabs the seal, and she brings them back up to the top of where the water is, standing next to a rock. And Misty's like, Staryu, let's get them both over to Lapras, because Ash let out his Lapras, and Ash and Pikachu are saving Mari from being in the water and drowning. What seems to be her brother is using binoculars, and this boy did not even jump in the water. He didn't do anything. He just, oh no, oh no. But he's looking over at Misty, and he's kind of like, ooh, who is this girl? And he's he's like, man, she's great. And it's at this point that we see Team Rocket is underneath. Team Rocket barely did anything in this episode. Thank God, because I don't even. I think that they must have been paying someone to an incentive that Team Rocket needs to be in X amount of episodes, because they really didn't need to be in this episode, but they found a way to be in this episode. Do you want to take it from here, brother?
Well, they were saving their strength for next week's episode.
Yeah, for real, where they're in the entire thing.
Exactly. But yes, so we go down and we see the Team Rocket is in the Magikarp submarine, and Jesse's like, "Ah, I've spotted I've spotted the twerps and full speed ahead, and James and Meowth are doing the pedaling because that's just the hierarchy, I guess. And um you see Meowth and James are pushing, and then Jesse's kind of like, you know, come on, put your back into it. And um James is sitting there, he's like, something's wrong. And Meowth is like, I hope that's not, and then, wouldn't you know, the freaking whirlpool um snaps up Team Rocket, and because Team Rocket's not allowed to have any good luck.
Aha! I've spotted the twerps. Full speed ahead.
Aye, sir.
You're not moving. Pedal faster.
Something's wrong.
I hope it's not a...
And then we cut back to
Ash,
Ash and
Ash, Misty, and Mari.
yes, and they're on the Lapras, and um, pardon me, and Ash is sitting there. He's like, "That was a close call. What were you doing out there?" And Mari, she's kind of ashamed. She's like, I was swimming with Seal, and we were near the beach, but we got pulled out. And
Yeah, the current
um
the currents took her back while she was swimming in the ocean.
which, I mean, that's happened to me. I mean, I lost a flip-flop in the ocean once.
Was that my bachelor weekend? Did you lose your flip flop that weekend?
No, this is when on a family trip to Florida, and I think I was in the Atlantic Ocean,
Oh, nice.
and I got knocked, and I lost a flip-flop. No, I mean, I did get knocked ass over tea kettle at your bachelor weekend.
No, actually, I think that was another time. I think we got you to actually be able to sit at the front of where the water was that day, because I think
Oh no, I remember it was just a random weekend we were there, and
yeah.
I was like, I want to go in the water, and you're like, I don't know about that, and I was like, oh fuck you, and I got stirred me right.
I saved Doug that weekend from getting
All
taken.
right, all right, all right, all right. Let's not.
I'm just playing with you, bro. So
Um,
so we're back at land, and Mari runs over to her brother and gives her brother a big old hug.
Mari! Mari, never go swimming alone again.
I won't.
I'm very grateful to you. I can't thank you enough for saving my sister.
We were glad to do it.
May I ask your name?
My name's Misty.
Misty. You're amazing.
Huh?
Huh?
And he just walks right by Ash and just okay. So later on, Ash is gonna call this guy like really rude, which okay, he kind of bears bones here because freaking Ash was talking to him and he literally ignored him. He ignored him. He walked right by him when Ash was saying that him and Misty both saved the little girl, but nope. He's like, nope, it wasn't you, Ash. It was Misty, and
it was the pretty lady.
he's like, Misty, you're amazing. And Tracy and Ash was, huh? and then all these people run over, and this guy serenades Misty with so many flowers. She has orange flowers, red flowers, pink flowers, white flowers. And it's at this point he's like, Misty, it would give me great pleasure if, come on. And he pulls Misty away from Tracy and Ash is like, who is this guy? And he has one of his peoples turn on some beatbox box music that's playing some lovey-dovey music, and he just starts dancing, and he's dancing with Misty. And he's like, Misty, the way you saved my sister, it's clear that you're an excellent Pokemon trainer. There aren't any water type trainers out here that are as skilled as you, and I'd be very, very honored and very grateful if you would just stay for a little while. He's like, and instruct the trainers at my humble gym. And Misty finally puts two and two together. Wait, hold up, what? Wait, so you mean you're the Trevita Island gym leader? He's like, yes. He's like, is it such a shock? And we just and we just jump right back to Ash. And Ash is like, he's the Trevita gym leader? And Pikachu is like, Pika? He's like, well, I'm Ash Ketchum, and I'm here to win an Orange Island gym bat. And then he just stops. And this gym leader, he's like, oh, Misty, you're such a great dancer, too. She's like, oh, well, thank you. And Ash tries to talk again, and the Mari comes running over. Oh, he can't hear you. He can't hear you, Ash, because he's dancing with Misty. And Ash is, and she's like, hey, brother, Ash came all the way here to have a gym match with you. And he turns around. He's like, it's not polite to interrupt a private conversation. Like, the nerve of this dude, bro.
I mean, he's got friggin' hearts in his eyes for Misty. He's got nothing. He's got no time for anybody.
And this is the part that I was talking about. Ash is like, me? It's you who's being rude. I was the one trying to talk to you. And he's like, no, it's not rude. It's Rudy.
It's Rudy.
And he does like the flamingo snap dance, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the road that we're going on in this episode. This is awesome, bro. Because it's just the interaction between Rudy and Ash is just hilarious. Because Ash just all he wants is a freaking gym battle, and Rudy could give two shits. And it's gonna get even funnier when Ash has to go and start doing the damn challenge. But I'll let you.
Ash he's just sitting here like, I just want to battle. I'm just, it's my show. It's
Yeah, he's like, it's my face that's on the poster. Well, in his case, Misty's on the poster too, and so is Tracy. Tracy got his one season in, his 30-40 episodes.
yeah, he's getting his residual check. He's all right.
Not anymore now that Pokemon TV is going down.
Sons of guns.
I know, right? All right, so I'll let you take it from here. And this is where Rudy is talking to Ash, and he's like, what makes you think that you can beat me, Mr. Ash?
And Ash sits there and he pulls open his jacket.
Now, what makes you think you can beat me?
I already won 2 of the badges I need to get in the Orange League from trainers that were a lot tougher than you look.
That's nice. Naturally, I'll be glad to accept your challenge, but first you'll have to pass a little test.
Don't worry, I will.
I hope you have good luck, Ash.
Thanks. You're gonna need lots of it to beat my big brother Rudy.
So, and this is why, and people don't give the Orange Islands enough freaking credit. Like, you have the gym leaders in this game actually interact with you. That would have been perfect for a Pokemon game, but they never put the Orange Islands in the damn video games. You can play a version, like there's a fan-made version, but you can't play the Orange Islands in a traditional Pokemon game.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like shoehorned in like bonus content, but like it's not like in the true spirit of the Orange Islands in the show.
No, not even as extra content. They never put it in. And let me and here's something else, bro. Let me tell you, when they remade Red and Blue with Let's Go Pikachu, with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, they still didn't put it in there, bro.
Really?
Not even as extra content. No, not at all. They stuck to the traditional 150 for it, and even in the they had extra space to where they could have made like DLC or anything. Nothing, bro. That's why I'm gonna be highly disappointed that if one day when we do get Let's Go Johto on the next Switch console, if we do get that, if they make that damn game and they don't put the goddamn Orange Islands in, I'm sending a letter to Pokemon Company.
I mean, you would think. I mean, they could get a whole game out of Orange Islands. It doesn't because with all the mini games you would have to do,
Exactly. You know how fun that game would be?
like that would there's your Pokemon party game.
Yes. And even though you only have to get 4 gym badges, but you can, like I said, you can shoehorn this in to the other games. And so what kind of makes me mad is they've had Pokemon games in the past. This is how I know they could have done it in the past, where once you beat the traditional game, I think it might have been Gold and Silver or Crystal. But once you beat the traditional game, you can go back to Kanto and then fight the 8 gym leaders in the from the Kanto region after you beat the Johto League. I believe
I believe that was Gold and Silver.
Okay, so Gold and Silver. So yeah, after you beat the game, you can go back. So what was to stop them from doing this in any other game, bro? I mean, I know these episodes were kind of filler to prepare you for Gold and Silver coming out pretty soon, which we are gearing up towards. But I mean, you easily could have done that. But
100%.
so come on, Pokemon Company, you better you especially on the next gen console that they're about to bring out. We better get some Orange Islands in this Let's Go Johto or whatever you're gonna call the version of Pokemon Gold and Silver on the Switch. So, but all right, bro. So he opens his jacket and he shows his badges.
So he's like, I already got 2 badges from trainers who were tougher than you, and Rudy's kind of sitting there, and he's like, humph, and he's like, well, I'll accept your challenge, but you've got to pass my test first. And Ash is like, no shit, I've already done it twice. On this island, I know how this stuff works. And, he's like, yeah, what kind of test? And then,
Mari is like, you know what, Ash, you're gonna need a lot of luck to beat my brother Rudy.
I mean, she's like mega number one his fan, and
For real.
we do a quick cut, and they're in like speedboats, and Ash is standing up at the front, and Tracy and Mari and Rudy and Misty are hanging out in the back. Pardon me. And Rudy's like, get the targets as they pop up, don't miss any of them. Prove your reflexes kind of thing. And Ash is like, bet. And
this should have been the easiest challenge for Ash. I'm just saying.
I mean 5 minutes maybe, right? I mean,
yeah.
I'll agree to a gym match with you, but only if you can get your Pokemon to attack and knock down all the targets that come up at us.
This'll be easy! Pikachu, Thundershock! Pika! Pikachu! Perfect, Pikachu! Did you see that, Rudy?
Your eyes, they're like diamonds, but lovelier.
Oh, Rudy. Hey, what is this? You're supposed supposed to be watching me, not her. Ugh.
And he's got Pikachu up, and a target pops up, and he, tells Pikachu to hit it, and Pikachu hits it with a Thunderbolt. And Ash is like, "Yeah, let's fucking go." And he looks over his shoulder at Rudy. He's like, "You see that one, Rudy?" And we we cut back, and Rudy's pulled a bouquet of flowers out of somewhere, and he's spitting game on Misty again. and Tracy's just sitting there letting it happen.
Ash just flips his lid too. He's like, "You're supposed to be watching me. You didn't even see me hit the damn target over there."
Yeah, I mean, he's like, "Is this a Pokemon battle, or what are we trying to do here?" And Mari's kind of got this look on her face like, "Oh, my brother's hooked another one." And Tracy's like, "I don't even have my sketch pad. This is uncomfortable." And Ash turns around and he's like, "Oh, here's another one." So he throws out Charizard for whatever cockamamie reason.
This okay, I can understand them getting pissed off at this one, because I think he did that shit on purpose to freaking get their attention, because they weren't listening to him. Because even Tracy was like, "The hell did you throw out Charizard for?"
Even when Tracy's the voice of reason, you better just pack it in.
For real. He literally looked at
Tracy.
He's like, "What
The
the
look
hell?"
on Tracy's face is, "Dude, I'm barely present, and even I know this is a bad idea." And Ash is like, "Well, I got crossed up, and
Yeah, I'm sure.
and Charizard looks Ash square in the face and goes, "Wow."
He's like, "I'm about to cook your ass."
And Ash is like, "Oh, return." And we pan down, and we see that Misty caught a face full of Charizard. And the flowers are a little singed, but thankfully Togepi's unharmed, because I think Togepi secretly used some of its psychic powers, which we'll talk more about in the next episode. But
Yeah, but
that's neither.
But Rudy used the one, like, if you're trying to spit game on a girl, you don't use this next line. Like, Rudy looks right over at Misty and was like, "Misty, you look a little burned up."
I mean, in a way, you have to respect his honesty. But, and Ash is kind of sitting there. He's like, "That was, my bad." And Misty's like, "Oh, you did that on purpose." And Rudy's like, "Oh, you should have been focusing on the targets, and
you need to control your Pokemon.
Control your Pokemon and focus on my challenges." And then this is when Team Rocket pops up. So we find out that they did, in fact, survive the whirlpool. And, they try to do their motto, because they didn't really get a fair shake when they were first introduced. And they're kind of standing there like, nobody's reacting. And then Meowth pops up and goes, "Ah, here they come. They're just not paying attention." And they kind of look and they're like, "Ah, they're on the horizon." And it's it's at that time another target pops out of the tree directly in front of them, and Ash is like, "Ah," and he throws out Squirtle.
Why the hell would he choose Squirtle?
Why not?
My thing is, okay, you're supposed to destroy these targets, but Squirtle, not one of these targets did Squirtle actually destroy it. He put a dent in the target, but he didn't destroy it. None of them.
Well, I didn't see it as destroy the targets. I just saw it as hit the target.
Oh, yeah. I guess you are right there. You're right.
But I think what you said had some bearing, because Pikachu kind of obliterated the target, but I think that might have more to do with Pikachu being a little over leveled.
Well, Bulbasaur, when we get to it, destroyed the damn targets too.
And I mean, let's be real, Charizard would have as well.
Exactly.
But
Charizard, all he had to do was go up and flick them.
But that's also Charizard, who's at its final stage and is probably level 50 by now.
Yeah, true. You know what? And this might be a good time to bring up because I might not remember it on the Charizard episode that we have in 2 episodes. But that video I sent you the other day kind of holds bearing, and it really made me think. So you have Charizard who kind of fucked it up for Ash, and we never got a Venusaur or a Blastoise with Squirtle or Blastoise because Squirtle and Bulbasaur kind of looks at Charizard and they're like, "Yeah, we see what happens if we evolve. So we don't want to evolve and become little assholes. So we're just gonna stay Squirtle and Bulbasaur."
Like it's almost like holding in puberty in a way.
Well, Bulbasaur literally had an episode where he was going to evolve and he kept hitting that X button or whatever buttons, X or square button, and he stayed a Bulbasaur.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, but back to the episode. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was really funny, and I'm sure it made you think too when I sent you that video.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you sent it over, it's like that made a lot of sense.
It did.
I was like, yo, like
They were like, which one of Ash's Pokemon are the worst? And the guy's like, Charizard, hands down, Charizard. Charizard fucked it up for Ash's whole entire team. Nobody wanted to evolve after Charizard.
like dude didn't even hesitate. He's like, Charizard, and the guy was like, what?
He's like, Charizard. So
So Ash has Squirtle use water gun, and it hits it, and it knocks the tree down. So it was a strong water gun at the end of the day.
yeah.
And how did the freaking submarine get launched from a tree hitting it?
So okay, so I have an explanation from that. So basically, the tree trunk and part of the island fell into the water, but it fell right in front of the submarine, which the water then went down and went up and just shoved Team Rocket, just like it just made Team Rocket just go flying. It made a wave.
Ah,
So,
big wave.
Yeah, big wave. And Team
And,
Rocket,
and,
Team
and
Rocket
the
just
water
went,
was still recovering from the whirlpool, so the water was still kind of uneasy as it was.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So, so then we start going through a montage. Doug, I'll let you finish off your scene.
So, Ash is like, was that Team Rocket? And Tracy was like, it might have been. And Pikachu's just going ham. And then Squirrel's back and he puts a dent in one. And Bulbasaur uses Razor Leaf for whatever reason instead of Vine Whip. But, I mean, it's not me. And Ash is like, I am, put me at a carnival. I'm going ham. And we cut to the back of the boat, and Misty's kind of got this impressed look on her face, and Togepi's just being happy and cute, and old Rudy kind of looks over and he's like, she looks kind of smitten. And then we go to the gym, and we see that it's kind of dusk.
Yes.
And Ash is kind of sitting there. He's like, all right, did the test. Where's my battle? I'm ready to go. Either feed me or fight me. Do something.
Well, Ash, I'm a little surprised, but you passed my attack test.
I knew he would. I've been training my Pokemon for a long time.
Tomorrow we'll have a match, and if you beat me 2 out of 3, I'll give you that badge you want so much. Pick whatever element Pokemon you want, and I'll use the same.
Okay, Rudy. I'll use an electric type, a grass type, and a water type.
And as for you, would you care to have dinner with us this evening?
Oh, please say yes. My brother is a really good cook.
Oh, I don't know.
We'd both be happy if you would.
All right, let's go.
Yay!
See ya.
Bye, Misty. Buka buka.
Ash is like, well, I'm here. I'm with her. Like, come on. But no, he. And this is where we get the Who's That Pokemon. This week, it's none other than Scyther. And why is it
Why?
Scyther? Because it's Pokemon, and yeah, that's the only reason I have. Maybe.
We hit the randomizer and it came up Scyther.
Yes, there you go. That's what we're gonna say every week. They hit the button and blah 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 blah. Scyther. There you go.
There it is.
So it is now dusk, and Ash is talking to Professor Oak with Tracy in the background. Pikachu is over eating his little Poke Snacks, and Ash is like, yeah, I already passed Rudy's test, and I get to have a match with him tomorrow. And Professor Oak is like, oh, sounds like you're doing very well. And he's like, just don't get overconfident. And Tracy barges in. He's like, hey, I just wanted to show you a drawing of this thing I saw in the woods. And it's a drawing of what looks like to be the top of an Elekid, the unevolved form of Electabuzz. And it's at this time that Professor Oak is like, huh, interesting. He's like, yeah, I thought I saw something, but maybe it was nothing. But I just wanted to show you Professor Oak. And Professor Oak is like, well, can you describe it a bit for me? And Tracy's like, yeah, well, I didn't really get a good look at it because I was all the way in the woods. And then Ash looks over and just throws out the perfect line. He's like, I'm paying for that phone call.
And I want to see how he's paying for anything, because I haven't seen him use coin or $1 throughout this entire adventure. He just seems to be getting food and just travel places, and the ferry just from island to island just seems to be free every time. And
well, you know how it is. He's over. he gets money after every gym battle. So
bullshit.
maybe all he has to do is go to the Pokemart and say, hey, I got 2 gym badges I'd like to redeem for my money now. And we just
like to redeem.
And he just does that shit off screen. Because
this is before PayPal. It's not like his mom can just be sending him weekly transfers.
Well, Pokemon does live in the future, as we've seen. I mean, they already have Zoom, and we didn't get Zoom for like years after this. So,
facts.
So, but Ash is finishing up all of his meal. And then we jump over to Misty, and Misty and Togepi were doing the same thing, but they're being treated to a great dinner. Because why? Because Rudy is the island's gym leader, so he just has all the money in the world for the best food. And Rudy's like, oh, was everything to your pleasure? And she's like, oh, it was so delicious. He's like, I'm glad you like it. And Mari just jumps up and she's like, you want to know a secret? I've always wanted a big sister like you, Misty. And Rudy is just looking over and he's like, huh? And she's like, yeah, I'm the only girl over here at this gym. And Misty's like, oh, that's too bad. And she's like, I have an idea. Why don't you be my big sister and just stay here forever? And Rudy is starting to get embarrassed, and he's like, yeah, you know what, Mari? Let's go ahead and just talk about something else here. And she's like, why? He's like, you know what? Let's go to the gym, and I'll let you go ahead and meet the Pokemon. And this is where we go to the gym, and this man literally has so many strong Pokemon. When we go ahead and enter this gym, like all of his Pokemon are sitting here dancing, and he has an Electabuzz, a Starmie, a Golem, Hitmonchan, Alakazam, and Executor, Pidgeot, Pidgeot and Rhydon, who coincidentally we get them starring in next week's episode.
Yes.
And then we have a Venomoth, and we have a very, very cute Ninetales that's standing on two legs, dancing as well. So very, very trained Ninetales, I would just like to say. But Misty's like, she's like, oh, they're all dancing. And Rudy's like, I don't think it's enough just to teach Pokemon a lot of attacks. I've found the Pokemon's abilities can improve and change if they learn to do something completely new and different. And the freaking Pokemon are doing a conga line as he's saying that. And this is when Rudy um tells Misty that he wants to dance with her again. And this is where we get the big plot point in this episode.
It'd be really great if you could stay here for good, Misty. Mari'd be so happy if you did.
Oh, I don't know.
Please think about it and give me your answer after the match tomorrow.
Mind you, he just met this girl 12 hours ago. But
Hey, sometimes you got to take a swing. You know?
Is that how it is, Doug? Is that we just moved that fast now?
It be like that sometimes. Sometimes you feel like and you're like, screw it. What's the worst she's gonna do is leave tomorrow.
might as well spit my game right now. They could have done a really good thing to find out that later on with Misty that she ended up coming back with this guy and that they're in a relationship later on. Because
they don't do that because that requires forethought. And if they do that, that means we got to figure out what's going on with Richie, and we got to figure out what's going on with the dude at the unofficial gym that happened way early, and the AJ, and we got to cross like 12 other people off the list.
I know.
And apparently, we just don't have time for that.
Apparently not. But I mean, it would make a whole lot of sense, wouldn't it? Like,
that's the problem. It would make too much sense.
Like it kind of frustrates me because we do see Misty later on. Misty doesn't have Togepi anymore. Togepi evolves. Togepi becomes the queen of the Togepis, and on Togepi Island, wherever Togepi Island is, and Misty's more grown up, even though Ash is still 10, but Misty, she's literally grown up since all of this, and we see the evolution of Misty, and it would be so nice for her to just come back to this. But as we find out in this episode, I guess Rudy, well, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but he basically just sits here and he's like, I would like for you to just stay here, but you don't have to tell me today. Tell me after I'm done with the Pokemon gym battle tomorrow with Ash, and you can let me know. And then now I'm going to go ahead and give this scene on over to you, my brother.
So we cut back to Team Rocket randomly, and we find their submarine is precariously perched on top of I don't know, like a
water mound, like a water hill.
A water hill, I guess. I was gonna say a water tree, but that just didn't. There's poles basically, and they're teetering and tottering on this in the moonlight, and it's kind of one of those things where if you go too far forward, they do this, and they go too far back, and Jesse's trying to take charge, and James and Meowth are too afraid to move because one wrong move and they go tipping, and they're hanging in there and they're hanging in there.
Can you blame them?
Well, no, fuck no, I wouldn't. I'd be afraid to breathe. And they're hanging in there, and then a piece of Jesse's hair brushes up against Meowth, and I kind of call bullshit on this. Maybe bullshit, maybe coincidence, because isn't this a plot point in next week's episode as well?
A little bit.
But the piece of Jesse's hair tickles Meowth to the point where he sneezes and just completely takes the submarine airborne and it goes crashing back down into the water. And Team Rocket gets put in the spin cycle. And if you're not expecting that, you're going to get dizzy.
did you
And
did you get dizzy, Doug?
the first time, yes, because I wasn't expecting it. I was like, fuck, thankfully I was only watching it on my phone. If I had it on the fucking big screen,
In HD.
in HD, 4K, and we find out that the whirlpool is reactive, and Team Rocket gets spun. One could almost assume to death, and then we do a fade, and we come back the next morning, and we see that Tracy and Misty and Rudy's minions, along with Mari, are in this hot air balloon surveying the battle area, which is on one of these boulders, a shorter version of what Team Rocket was on.
Yes.
I mean, still precarious, but much shorter and flatter. And Rudy's like, 3 Pokemon, you know, best of, best out of 3, let's go. And Ash is, he's geeked up to go, and Rudy is Rico Suave, and
Yeah, he is. He's trying to show off for Misty, which is not this. That's probably why he lost this gym battle.
probably, I mean, because he was thinking. I mean, I hate to do this because it's a cartoon, but he was thinking with his head.
Yeah.
And so Ash sends out Pikachu because you send out your ace first, and Rudy counters that with an Electabuzz. And personally, I was shocked that Ash didn't send out, or not send out, but didn't pull out Dexter, because it's been
A hot
a
minute since
minute.
he's seen
Yeah,
and I like the buzz. I mean, he freaking pulled it out on a damn Magnemite that he saw a couple weeks ago.
this is true.
So yeah, I'm shocked.
And we pan over and we see a commentator is sitting on top of a Pidgeot.
Which I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty fucking cool.
Pretty badass, especially because he was sitting there. There was no harness, there was no nothing. He was just sitting there. He was just barebacking that son of a bitch.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna call this match from the sky.
Which, I mean, fair point. I mean, that's probably a better vantage point.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
And then we cut back to the balloon with the rest of the spectators, and Mari's cheering on her brother, and Misty is sitting there looking conflicted, and Tracy's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a tough one because it usually is." And Ash makes the first move, and Electabuzz just takes it because what the fuck else was he gonna do? Like, seriously.
Well, Ash was dumb for this one. I mean, because he's seen an Electabuzz before. So,
Yes.
So actually, he's seen it more than once because an Electabuzz, he had an episode with it when they were controlling the Pokemon with Cassidy.
Ketchup.
Yeah, with Cassidy and Budge. Remember that episode?
Oh, Cassidy and Budge.
Yep.
It's Budge.
Yep, Butch. And then so that's probably why. So and then we had the Scyther episode with the ketchup, and then we also had the wait a minute, we didn't have Cassidy and Butch episode controlling the Pokemon yet, have we?
Oh, does that happen? That happens at the end of the season, doesn't it?
I think so. Cause don't isn't there an episode where they like do like a mind control thing with a Drowsy? Or did we
Yes.
or did we cover that episode already? I don't think we covered. I don't think we covered that episode yet. I don't think so.
But the thing is, that sounds familiar, but I don't know if it sounds familiar because I remember the plot, or if it's because we've covered it here. I don't think we've covered it here.
Okay. I don't think so either. And we have our fans going, "Yes, you did," or they're saying, "No, you didn't."
No, you didn't. It's in 5 episodes. You haven't gotten that far, or whatever.
Yeah. So, but they have the Scyther episode for sure, and Electabuzz was in the Pokemon movie. So
Yes. Well, the Pokemon movie didn't happen.
yeah, it didn't happen, and he still saw the damn Pokemon at the Pokemon Center because the trainer had it. That was one of the trainer's Pokemon.
Ah, yeah, yeah. They just don't remember anything that happened after they got on Barry or
Yeah.
whatever.
So, but yeah, Ash was dumb here because he sent his Pikachu out to go and use freaking Thundershock on a goddamn Electabuzz. Like, come on, Ash.
Just dumb.
Eh,
So,
Rudy
he
Rudy
tries
even
to-
thanks him.
because it recharges the Electabuzz.
Yeah.
It's very nice of you to recharge my Electabuzz's batteries, Ash.
It's no good, Pikachu. Electabuzz is just absorbing your electricity. Electric attacks won't work. Pikachu.
So then Pikachu tries to do what he should have done at the outset, and he tries a quick attack, but it doesn't work because he's dealing with an Electabuzz with full energy, and
Pikachu
Rudy's
literally bounced right off of him.
I mean, and freaking Rudy's Electabuzz does the same move back to him and has like 10 times the power, and then Rudy calls for the final shot with a thunder punch, and poor Pikachu almost falls off of the freaking pier.
Dude, he got
hits the
punched right in the gut, bro. I felt
Like,
bad.
He takes that hit so hard, and he almost goes rolling off of the dang thing.
That would have
Ash
been a
has to-
proper time for Ash to call Pikachu back into its Pokeball for like a split second just to save it.
I'm saying, but no, Ash has to play Hero Ball, dive and save him,
Facts.
and then he throws in the towel because you almost die, you can't continue the battle, and and then friggin' so Rudy wins the first fall basically, and
Which hats
Then we
off to him. I mean that was a good strategy that he did.
well, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it kind of had to come to him. He's like, I have the advantage here, especially when freaking Electabuzz didn't even do anything and he got recharged right off the rip.
Facts, yeah. He did. So I think that was kind of Ash's doing as to why he lost that fall, because if he didn't recharge that Electabuzz to be overcharged than what it already was, he probably would have won that match.
Yeah, because, say what you will about Pikachu and, whether or not it was outsized or whatever, throughout the entirety of the series, Pikachu has shown itself to be super scrappy.
Yes.
And like mega resourceful, and maybe if he wasn't dealing with 100% charged Electabuzz, maybe it would have been a different.
Yeah, it 1000% would have been a different outcome at that point. So, all right, so we're going down to the second bout. You want to start it up with the Executor?
Yes, so we have a brief interlude with Mari and Misty, and Mari's kind of like, "Hey, what did my brother say to you, last night?" And Misty's kind of like, "Oh, your brother, he says a lot of things," and we have a flashback of what he said, just in case us as viewers forgot what he said 10 minutes ago.
Not even.
Well, yeah, I guess not. And then we get more contemplative Misty, and then then we get Bulbasaur and Executor, and Um, uh, because this is the same executor, sorry, that we saw in the gym,
He's a
in
he's a
the
dancer,
dance party. Rudy kind of snaps his fingers, and one of the minions pulls out a boombox.
which is bullshit. You cannot play music in the middle of a Pokemon battle to have your Pokemon dance. Like that's outside interference at that point.
Yeah, you're manipulating the outcome.
Facts, right?
I mean, it's yeah, but I mean, who would Ash complain to? This is kind of regulated by the gym. I mean, it doesn't seem to be like I guess he could have ran it all the way up the Kanto flagpole.
Yeah, I guess.
So friggin' he tells Bulbasaur to use Razor Leaf, and it's ineffective because the Executor is busting a move, and Executor, is gaining ground on Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur does Razor Leaf again. It's ineffective again, so I don't know. Like, what is Ash's thought process?
And okay, so I can kind of um speak to Ash. So when they pick their next Pokemon, these are blind picks. So I mean, yeah, Ash already knew that he was going to use Bulbasaur, but Rudy knew that he was going to use his Executor. It just so happens to be that they're both kind of grass type Pokemon.
Well, no, I'm not mad about the selection of Bulbasaur versus Executor. I'm mad about consecutive turns Ash uses Razor Leaf when Executor hasn't stopped moving.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, I used Razor Leaf the first time, it's ineffective. Let me use Vine Whip. Let me use a tackle. Let me use something.
Well, I mean, he's probably still running the high of being able to hit all these targets on a moving speedboat.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. That's a
So
good point.
yeah, so he just completed the speedboat challenge, which was probably the reason why he thinks that he can hit anything now.
Well, he was wrong.
He was. But we go straight from that over to Team Rocket.
Yes, we get and we see Team Rocket is making their way out of the and they pop up just in time um for Executor to freaking fall off of the pillar
And hit them.
and hit them to knock them right. I mean, they are having nothing this episode. Because
they
friggin'
they paid him and said we need you for 2 straight minutes in this whole episode, and we need you to scream and to say a few lines, and that's it.
because freaking poor Executor is just a dancing fool, and Bulbasaur puts it to sleep, which is kind of sadistic.
How
Um,
how did the commentator not see Team Rocket? And how did when Rudy called back Executor not see Team Rocket falling into the water?
uh,
Somebody tell me.
Battle tunnel vision
It must be.
is, is the only thing I could think. So Bulbasaur saves Executor because he grabs it with Vine Whip as it's falling unconscious off the cliff. So Bulbasaur wins the second fall, so we're one up, and Executor gets called back, and um Ash is like, oh, attaboy, Bulbasaur, you did good, and Pikachu's like, yep, did good, and Mari's kind of like, oh, he lost, and Misty's kind of got a smile on her face. Ash is like, or Rudy's like, that was very sporting of you to save my Executor, and Ash is like, bring on the last fall, and friggin' Rudy has a Starmie, and he kind of flips his hair and he looks up to Misty. He's like, "I am dedicating this to you, Misty." And um, Mari's like, "Oh, he's sweet on you. You're gonna be so well here. Stay here and being my big sister." And Ash is like, "Oh, I've got a water type," but he throws out Squirtle because he can't trust
He threw that
Charizard.
Pokeball upside down, by the way, and it opened upside down.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, Rudy threw that Pokeball upside down. Oh,
Well, Rudy doesn't have to abide by the rules of.
apparently he's throwing Pokeballs upside down. He has music interfering from the outside. But fun fact about an upside down Pokeball. Did you realize that on an old school Pokemon card, American Pokemon card, that the
Hmm,
Pokeball was opening incorrectly?
the whole time.
You knew that?
No, I'm asking. Like the whole time, it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like just.
Yeah, when we were kids, the Pokeball was actually opening incorrectly on the back of the Pokemon cards.
Huh.
Yeah. So you know how the button is attached to the red part of the Pokeball? The
Right,
Pokeball
the top.
the top, the button went on the back of the Pokemon cards back in the day had the top opening with the button attached to the white part.
Did he get fixed in subsequent?
Just recently.
Oh, just recently.
Yes, just recently.
Oh,
Yes. But
now because that was such a common thing, it's not like those are rare cards.
no, no, they're not rare cards because they were on all of the damn Pokemon cards. It's just
Right.
I just happened I follow I follow someone on Twitch, and I like watching them when they open up some of their Pokemon cards, and he just happened to have Pokemon cards from back in the day, and he wanted to point it out because he had heard this. So he
Ah,
showed an old school Pokemon card compared to the new Pokemon cards, and the Pokemon cards were completely different.
interesting.
I know, right? Oh, and by the way, starting today, I didn't even announce this at the beginning. That's probably good because I mean it means that you guys are actually listening to the episode. I'm starting to give out Pokemon card codes at the end of episodes again, starting today.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm bringing it back, man. Bringing it back. And today's Pokemon pack is going to be one of the newer Pokemon packs, which I will tell you at the end of this episode. But let's go ahead
ooh.
and finish this episode, bro.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
So we get down to Squirtle versus Starmie, and like I say, um, and we start out with dueling water guns, which is kind of a draw, and Rudy calls for the music to be pumped up again, which again I fucking flag on the play bullshit. Um, and Starmie uses that to just spin and be evasive, and freaking. And this is enough. This is probably, if I would have been paying attention at the time, this would have been the first instance of me kind of throwing up my bullshit card, because Starmie uses the music to gain momentum, and with the momentum gained, apparently it can use Thunderbolt.
Yes. Well, Starmie's always been able to use Thunderbolt. So
Bullshit.
no, it has.
No, bullshit.
No, I'm being 1000%. You can a Starmie can learn. I have a Starmie in my Pokemon Go game that knows Thunderbolt.
Yeah, no, because you can put a TM on it or something. That's fucking. What are we doing?
I know, right?
So, it's a shock to everybody else as it should be. And it looks like old Squirtle's gonna end up being turtle soup. And freaking, this is when Misty kind of snaps out of it. Well, snaps out of it means it makes it sound like she was like under Rudy's spell or something.
Yeah, for
But
real.
she kind of has a moment and she's like, I don't think I want to stay here. And
Ash, you need to win this goddamn battle.
she's like, what are you gonna do? Stand there and let him beat you? And Mari kind of looks up and she's hurt and she's like, you want him to win? And even Ash is like, was that Misty?
Ash just looks up. Oh, she hasn't paid attention to me in 24 hours. I didn't even know she knew my name anymore.
And he's like, she's like, come on, Ash, you gotta focus. Only you can bring out Squirtle's real power. And Ash goes, I know that. I'm not stupid. And I'm sitting there going, I have examples to beg to differ.
And he shouldn't have been such an asshole. Like, she's sitting here rooting you on, Ash. Don't be a fucking dipshit.
And she's like, you already beat Rudy once. What's stopping you from doing it one last time? And this is when old Rudy kind of has a moment. And she's like, or he's like, she wants him.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I lost this battle in both ways.
Friggin', this is when Ash uses the last 2.5 minutes of the episode to kind of become like a master Pokemon trainer, and he tells Squirtle to aim his water gun towards the ground, which elevates Squirtle and onto a higher pillar. And
I guess Ash doesn't have to play by the rules if Rudy doesn't either, because technically Squirtle's out of the battlefield.
yeah, yep. I mean, what are we doing here if we're not calling fouls on Rudy, we can't call fouls on old Ash.
Rudy should have just pulled the card. All right, hey, your Pokemon's out of bounds, so you lose. I win 2-1.
And
just because he lost Misty.
Just because, I mean, poor guy just freaking Squirtle pulls hydro pump out of its butt, basically, and Togepi's just being happy, and Squirtle's got like all the energy in the world all of a sudden, and Ash is like, all right, freaking go, and he freaking tells Squirtle to use hydro pump again, and Starmie just takes it square on in the face, and it's about down, and freaking comes in with a supersonic skull bash, and we have like a straight up anime ending, except Starmie doesn't land on its feet and then fall over, it just lands on its feet, and just we have the telltale blinking warning light, and then it goes out.
Beep, beep, beep. And it's
then
done.
It's done, and Ash wins the battle.
The match is over! Squirtle wins the third round! Ash has defeated Rudy, the Trovina Island gym leader!
All right! We did it, Squirtle! We finally won!
Squirtle.
That hydro pump was awesome!
Nice job,
One more
Ash.
badge to get into the orange league!
2-1, and we have a quick shot of the balloon, and Mari is crestfallen, and Misty is happy, and Ash is celebrating with Squirtle, and
we forgot to even say Mari was so disgruntled when Misty started calling out for Ash. She's like, "Oh, you want him to win? Oh no!" But I guess she can't take into effect. She can't take into effect everybody's feelings because someone's feelings is gonna get hurt.
Well, right, and you feel for Mari when she's like, I'm like the only girl kind of in this outfit, and I have no one to spend time with, and I could tell that my brother really cares for you, so it's like, oh, if my brother likes you, then I can get to like you, and big sister, and
Little sister.
but Rudy kind of looked over at Ash as he's celebrating with Squirtle and Pikachu, and he's like, and then we have the customary badge presentation, and Pikachu jumps up. He's like, "All right," and
He did it.
he did it, and I helped kind of, um, and
Pikachu don't
we
look
have
knocked out to me. Pikachu over here doing a little dance. Pikachu, you could have won that first battle, and Squirtle wouldn't have had to do anything.
well, you can't blame Pikachu for doing what Ash told him to do.
I know. Come back, Pikachu. Even though you don't have a Pokeball. Well, you do have a Pokeball, but I'm not going to call you back. I'm going to almost let you fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I gotta get my action in.
I know.
Um, and then we see friggin' Rudy is offering Misty flowers again, but it's not like, oh, please stay flowers. It's more like, you know, thanks for spending time with me. Um, I understand that you made your decision.
But I'm here if you
Um,
but I'm here if you want to come back.
he's like Ash is a lucky guy.
No, yeah, no, he tells Ash that. He's like, "Ash, you are a lucky guy." And Ash is like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You'll learn one day."
Yeah. And I mean, that's basically it. We leave the episode with Rudy thinking that Ash and Misty are going to be a thing. Ash and Misty have no idea what's going on, other than Misty's probably happy that she's not staying on the island.
I know. She's like, "All this awkwardness is done." And then we go to the to be continued. Bro, I
Yeah.
had a lot of fun reviewing this episode. They need more episodes like this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to say the same next week, but
I don't
this
either.
one this one was a blast. I mean, about the only thing that this episode didn't have was an evolution.
Yes, which probably would have given this episode probably one of our rare 5 stars. But I'm gonna guess I'm gonna jump you on this one. I'm gonna guess that you gave this one a 4 star because that's what I'm gonna give this episode because I had
Yeah,
such
this
a great time doing it.
this was an easy 4-star.
Okay, awesome. So, but yeah, all right. So, as I stated in the middle of the episode, I am bringing back the Pokemon codes that you can use on your Pokemon trading card game live game, everybody. And these are first come, first serve codes. And the first one to use it gets it. And if you didn't get it this week, you can try again next week. And that's how we used to do it back in the day. And that's how we're going to be doing it going forward. But to start this off, not only do I have one code, I'm going to give you 2 codes
Oh,
this week. And there's some pretty hefty ones. I'm going to start off with some bangers before we go over to the actual Pokemon packs. But the first code is going to be a Paldean Fates EBT code. Ooh, one of the big boys. And then the second one is a Paradox Rift build and battle box code, everybody. So get ready to jot these down, everyone, because again, these are first come, first serve. But your first code is Q, D as in dog, 992 TPYJ4HVN. Second code LZ6RTNXBXRBQX. Everybody. And those are your 2 codes for this week. I am not repeating them. If you missed it, go back and start punching them in. Word of advice for anyone that's getting these codes, it would probably be your best bet to be in the game when this episode goes out, so you can enter the code as I'm saying it, which is probably how you can get it. And if it says it's already been redeemed, then you can try again next week. But all right, do you have anything else to add for this week, Doug?
I don't think so. This was one of the more chaotic episodes, one of the more funny episodes.
Yeah, for real. I'm sure we can find some jokes for next week, but it's not going to be as fun and witty as it was this week. But you do get a Paldean Fates code for next week. So you do get a Pokemon pack code. So even if you don't like the episode, you do get a Pokemon trading card game code that you can use.
Well, and you get to tune in to see just how we turn this episode around.
Yeah, for real. Because we always seem to do that. Even though the episode seems to be shit, we end up turning it around and trying to make it as funny as we can. So
yeah.
But all right. So since you don't have anything else to say on this one, Doug, go ahead and give your goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Professor Chris G telling all of you we'll be back next week. But for now, we are blasting off again. Have a good night, everyone.